Coming up, we have stories about sister-in-law versus sister-in-law holiday edition. Exes at your wedding, neighborhood bullies, kids will be kids. Quote, drunk comments turning a marriage upside down, emotional abuse, and grocery store drama. Where normally the tea isn't hot, but now it is. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with the Reddit story for you. This one comes from AITAH and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Letting My Kids Sit at the Table at Family Cookout and Going No Contact with Sister-in-Law? I, 52 female, married my husband, 52 male, 7 years ago. I already had 2 daughters, now 18 and 20. My husband has 1 sister, 50, and she has 2 sons, 22 and 24, and one of them has a wife, 24. Time out. Before we started reading this story, did you all just assume that these were going to be like involving kids under the age of 10? Because I did. I was like, is there a kid's table and an adult's table? No, okay, it's an entirely different situation now. My in-laws invited us to a 4th of July cookout at their lake house. Sister-in-law brought a few side dishes and my husband grilled. My daughters and I came up from the pool for lunch. Sister-in-law's kids were seated on outdoor furniture, couch, and chairs. So we sat at the outdoor dining table, talked for 30 minutes or so, and then got up and got food along with everyone else, buffet-style serving. We took our plates back to our original seats at the table. We had left drinks, phones, sunglasses at the table. My husband and in-laws joined us at the table, and sister-in-law and her kids sat on the couch/chairs. Last week, sister-in-law, who is an alcoholic, got drunk and texted me a really nasty text. She said my shitty kids have no manners, that her and her kids should not have to eat with their food in their laps while my kids eat at the table. She said they need to show some respect and not sit at the table. What? I'm now refusing to go to the Labor Day cookout, and I don't want to go to any more holidays with her, including Christmas. I know she was drunk, but obviously she sat around on the 4th mad at my kids, and I just don't want to be around that. She went further in the text, accusing me of rolling my eyes at her at Christmas 2023 because she turned the fireplace off, which I have no memory of, and who would care about a fireplace anyway? She also said that she's always disliked me and that my husband, her brother, is an asshole, among other things. Well, that probably explains a lot of why she is the way she is towards you. I told my husband I'm not going to any more holidays with her. He said he won't go without me, so he's not going either. Okay, hold up. Green flag for hubby here. Immediately. Or if you're not going, I'm not going. Thank you. Okay, that's the way that's supposed to go. Good job. Although I told him I don't mind him going without me. So am I the astronaut for not going to any more family events? Top comment, NTA for sure. Do your husband's parents, mother-in-law and father-in-law, know that you will not be attending because of sister-in-law and what she said? If you just don't go, it gives her an open shot to badmouth you before the truth is known. Very good point, commenter. Very good point. Yeah, if you don't go, you lose control of the narrative, and people like this definitely love to control the narrative. I wouldn't be surprised if she's already filled their ears and heads with all kinds of bullshit already, and you're right. She's been stewing about it long enough so that when she got drunk, it lowered her inhibitions, so she was like, okay, I'm not holding this in anymore, which means it's still stewing. The freaking Christmas thing from 2023, I swear, 7 years ago, you rolled your eyes at me, and I've been thinking about it every day since. This bottle of Jack Daniels agrees. I don't like you, and your husband, my brother, is an asshole. Always has been. You married an asshole, so you must be an asshole too. And your little shitty kids came from that asshole. They're half that asshole, so they need to show some respect and not sit at a table when they're eating food. When there are elders and superiors present, they need to eat on the ground out of a bowl like the rest of the goddamn dogs. Glug. I think you're okay not wanting to go to any events with this gal. All right. I think that's perfectly understandable. I do agree with the commenter that you need to reach out, or your hubby needs to reach out to his parents and be like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what's going on. She was so pissed. Like, okay, but here's the deal. Whose house was this at? Let me go back. I'm sorry. Wait, where did they go? Their lake house. Okay, it was their lake house. So, instead of what a normal host would do, which would be like, here, guest, You have the table. I'll sit on this couch. My guest should have the preferred, more comfortable, like the utility table that makes sense. I should give them preference because they're my guest, and I'll discomfort myself to make them more comfortable. She sat over there like, that's my table. Sitting here with my food in my lap like a goddamn peasant. I feel like a muggle in my own home. Looks at her kids who are also sitting on the outdoor furniture with their plates in their laps and is like, this is just a level of disrespect I cannot take. Number one, if you were being a good host in the first place, you'd still be sitting right there. She was willing to discomfort you for her own personal gain and would have had no problem with that, which would have made her an asshole anyway. So she has no problem being the asshole to put you in your place. And her brother, your husband, in her place as well. Get TV trays. There you go. You know what? Melinda, I think it's a great idea. For Christmas, don't go, but send some TV trays as a gift. And I mean like the TV trays that we had as kids in the 80s, right? Like they're probably really expensive now, but they were the metal ones with like the flip out legs, and they had cool shit on them. I had one that had like space stuff all over it, I think. Yeah, and like it's outdoor furniture, right? It's not like it doesn't get dirty. Should probably be able to like hose it off. You should get a custom one printed with this design on it. This is for her. This is not for you. This design, you should like with the planet and the astronaut, not saying Ascon 1, but just like with the Ascon, all the planets and the astronaut all the way to Ascon 1. That should be the design of the TV tray that you send her. It is the design of our new keychain, which is something you can only get by being a winner on Wheel of Thunder on Wednesdays, right? Hey-yo. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one was picked by Ava Thunder. Heck yeah. And it is from AITH and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Not Inviting My Fiance's Ex to Our Wedding? Well, I mean, I certainly understand why you wouldn't want to, right? I, female 26, have been with Henry, male 36, almost 37, for 5 years. We are engaged and currently planning our wedding. A little background, Henry is the youngest child and his mother really wanted a girl. Because of this, Henry grew up feeling despised by his mom, who openly says hurtful things like how he was a disappointment from the start or how she never got the daughter she wanted. Despite this, instead of going no contact with her, Henry has been trying very hard to win her love. That's sad as shit. I know there's a lot more to this story, but having the context of him never being able to win his mother's love, but still trying at the age of nearly 37 is freaking heartbreaking. Henry had a long-term ex, female 32, who is very close with his mother. She became the daughter his mother always wanted. Oh no. However, this ex cheated on him with a coworker and left him. After 2 years, Henry and I met. Eventually, the ex wanted to get back together with him, but he said no and blocked her. Despite this, she and his mother remained best friends. Mom, what are you doing? His mother still invites her to family functions, and my fiance and I just ignore her. What? She still invites her to family shit after she cheated on him and left him. You two started dating. She says she wants him back. He says no. And mom's like, oh, don't worry. We just have to play the long game, dearie. You're still coming to every family function. Eventually he'll cave because you being around is going to piss off his significant other enough to leave. His mother does not like me and believes I'm the reason she can't have her preferred daughter-in-law. My fiance has explained many times that he would rather stay single forever than get back with his wife. So even if I didn't exist, he wouldn't be with her. Yesterday, my mother-in-law asked how many guests she could invite to our wedding. What? You don't get a plus 20. I told her that since my parents could invite 8 to 10 people, she could do the same. Well, that's gracious. She thanked me, but an hour later, she smiled and said, well, we have one yes already. Referring to my fiance's ex. I told her that was very inappropriate since we aren't even friends with her. She responded by saying that it's her guest list, and none of my business. Hold up, wait, what? What? The people I'm taking to your wedding are none of your business? What? Then she said I'm insecure because the ex is the whole package and that I'm just a rebound girl. Henry told his mom to stop and asked her to leave. Once she left, he asked if I could be the bigger person and let her have this. No! As he really wants his mom to be at the wedding. He suggested that if inviting his ex would keep his mom quiet, we should just ignore her. Am I the asshole for not wanting her there? P.S. We are mostly paying for the wedding ourselves with some help from my dad. Mother-in-law has not contributed. Before I get into the first update here, Henry! No. I understand your point of view because you're like, it's not going to change anything for me, her being there. But you have to understand that your mom is evil. And your evil mother who keeps your ex around, who clearly didn't care enough about you to keep it in her pants. I don't know I don't know if that applies to whatever. Clearly doesn't care enough about you to be faithful to you. She wants her around. What's mother's end goal here? Mom's end goal is to have the daughter that she never did. Do you think she's going to plant her at your wedding and she's just going to sit there quietly? Do you think that's the plan? Do you think like she's finally going to, this is it. As long as we let her have this, then we're married and nothing can happen. Dude, she's going to use this bizzo and try to thwart your wedding. You know what her goal is already. Her goal is to not sit there quietly with someone that you don't want there so you'll be mildly uncomfortable. That is not her goal. Her goal is for you to not get married. Her goal is for you to take your cheater ex back because that's who she wants you to have. You know this, man. We're going to officially title this as one of these at this point. We're going to give it the spicy story. Update. Thank you so much for the comments and DMs. I had a calm talk with Henry and explained how I feel disrespected by his mom's words and actions. While I can't control who she associates with, it is very disrespectful that she invites your ex to all the gatherings and that the two of them constantly pick on me. Henry acknowledged this, but said that's just how his mom is. Red flag for you, Henry. I told him that it's best we cancel the wedding at this point because I want our wedding day to be happy, memorable, not one filled with drama and stress. I added that his mom is going to ruin this day and that he's just going to accept it as usual, which I cannot tolerate. I told him I won't marry him until he sets some boundaries with his mother. This situation is ridiculous. Hell yeah. Proud of you, OP, for being like, no. That's not going to cut it. You're going to have to toughen up with your boundaries here. And I understand his position. He's been trying to win her approval his entire life. So now he's in this position where he knows in his core what he needs to do, but is physically unable to do it because it goes against everything that he's felt up to this point. Henry went on about how he can't cut his mom out of his life because she sacrificed so much raising him and his brother as a single mom, but he admitted he doesn't know how to handle her either. I told him I can't make that decision for him, but I'm going no contact with his mom. I suggested that maybe therapy could help him realize how abusive and toxic his relationship with his family is and help him decide what to do with his life. I also said I won't attend any more gatherings. He went quiet for a while, then he called his mom on speakerphone to tell her that the wedding was canceled. She went on and on, saying he finally did the right thing by dumping that whiny bitch, calling me insecure and controlling and saying it was a miserable relationship. Henry kept interrupting her, saying, "Mom, stop," but she didn't care. In the end, he told her, "Mom, we're not breaking up. She's here and heard everything. She canceled it, not me, because you kept disrespecting her." His mom screamed, "That manipulative little bitch set me up. That fussy little and started ranting again. Henry then told her that he needs some time to think, and it's best if she gives him some space, then hangs up. We've barely talked since. He's spending today helping his brother with some renovations, and I'm home alone. Hopefully my next update will be less depressing. Okay, we do have the next update to read, but let's talk about this for just a second because you have to understand his inner conflict, right? His whole life, everything up until this point, he has been taught to strive for and fail to acquire her affection, her approval. Like that's all he's ever wanted, and it's all he's wired to want at this point. So now openly defying her goes against like his default programming. It goes against his wiring. So he's really struggling with that. And now He needs time to think, and it's best if she gives him some space. And he immediately went to go work on a hands-on project. I understand that. Like, he's working this problem in the back of his mind and trying to keep his hands busy because he feels like he's about to bubble over. He's about to have a breakdown. And I see the value in doing that. It's easiest to work these kind of problems in the back of your mind sometimes while you're doing something else. So I don't disagree with how he's handling it to this point, except that, of course, you don't want to see him give her an inch. You don't want to see him give her any kind of control. But she has manipulated the hooey out of him and thinks she still is. And for the first time, he's kind of starting to break away from that. He's kind of starting to break free. I'm sure there is inner turmoil for him. Turmoil. That's what I said. I'm sure it's really hard for him. I hope that OP understands that. You know what I mean? I would hope that in a partnership, you see your partner in pain, or you understand the life they've lived up to this point, and you understand when something's really difficult for them. His mom is going to destroy his entire life. Vienna, I don't think he's spineless. I think she gained control over him at a very young age. So if he breaks free from this, it will be huge for him. I don't think he's a spineless individual. She just has the power to manipulate over him. Okay, let's dive in to the second update here. Ready? It's 6 a.m. and I've been crying all night. Sorry for any typos. He broke up with me. No, wait, no. For you? No. Do not tell me he ran back to mommy. He ignored all my texts yesterday, and it was late when I finally texted his brother to ask if he was okay. His brother said, yeah, he left 2 hours ago to give his ex a ride and then come home. What the man? I asked his ex was there, but he didn't reply. When he finally came home, he told me to sit down because we needed to talk. He said, I've thought about our relationship, thought about our situation, and I think we should end it. He said, today I hung out with my family, and even his mom and ex came over. They all told me that by going no contact with his mom, it was going to be so awkward and that they'd be stuck in the middle. He said, when you weren't there today, I enjoyed my time with my family. There was no tension, and I didn't have to worry about you being upset. I asked him, why did it take you 2 hours to drop off your ex? Did you sleep with her? He told me I was being ridiculous and that he was just talking to her. He accused me of being controlling and insecure and said I'm isolating him from his friends and family. I asked him again, so nothing happened? He danced around it, but eventually admitted, we fooled around, but that's it. By the way, it's really obvious when somebody has like a sudden change of heart, or like a big leap in a decision, and they start regurgitating lines that other people gave them. It's like he's going through the talking points that his mother handed to him right now. I told him I couldn't believe what a pathetic, weak man he is, letting his mom convince him to ruin everything. And next, he's getting a blowjob from his cheating ex. We ended up arguing and he went to sleep. I cried all night. Today, I'm going to call my dad and ask if I can stay with him. Top comment here, when his cheating ex cheats on him again, he will get karma. You are on the winning end. You cut loose a cheating asshole and his shitty family. Now it's time to find yourself a real life partner. I do agree that this is the best for you. Nikki says, can we revisit that spineless comment? Okay, fine. Yes, he has proven me wrong, and you're all right there. He did end up being spineless here. She has his number. Man, she knows how to play him like a fiddle. She's been doing it her whole life. And it, although momentarily looked like you were going to help him put up a good fight and finally break free from this, he eventually succumbed to the evil he knew because it was comfortable there. And yeah, it was comfortable hanging out with his family. There was no drama because you were letting yourself be manipulated. And that's the way everything was before. So it's the devil you knew. Do you want things to be the same? Really? Do you want to always be striving for your mother's affection and attention and love and approval, not to get them? Is that the scene that you want to replay for the rest of your life, man? And he chose yeah. And on the ride over there, when the ex was riding with the mother-in-law's like, okay, so here's the plan. We're going to go through the talking points over and over and over again till we can see that he believes them. And then I'm going to ask, I have to leave early, so you're going to be stranded there. You're going to need a ride home. On the way home, go down on him. See how the deal? Loose lips sink relationships, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work. I'm sorry. I'm trying. The horror on Candy Thunder's face. You did dodge a bullet here, OP. It would have been loose lips. No, that's not. Pinching them together does not loose. Okay.
Oh, I was making sure mine aren't.
What is happening? It would have been great if he had written a different ending to the story and made the choice that we all were rooting for. But y'all are right. He continues to be controlled and continues to choose to be spineless here. He's going to end up replaying this whole scenario over and over again. The ex is going to cheat again. He's going to leave again. His mom is going to orchestrate everything to come back together again, unless mother-in-law has actually like financially incentivized the ex to get back with him. There's got to be something behind this. There's some kind of motive here. Like, why would the ex all of a sudden be like, yeah, I think I want him back, unless mother-in-law incentivized it somehow. It's like New Girl, where she starts dating the guy that is just crazy boring, but she falls in love with his parents because his parents are like Chip and Nancy. Is that what it is? Yeah. His parents are like the coolest, nicest people ever, and they know their son is a dud, but they try to incentivize her to date him by getting access to them. There's something going on where mother-in-law has either control or incentive over the ex as well. This is her game. This is the game. Let's go back to the title of the story. Am I the astronaut for not inviting my fiance's ex to our wedding? No. Yeah, still sticking with no here. It sucks that this is how the story ended, because it could have been so great. But you have to also realize that even if you got him through this time, and even if you got him to stand up to his mother long enough to actually get married, that would not be the end of this war. This war would wage for decades. And you were going to have that to look forward to. You're going to have a ton of awkward scenarios. You're going to have a ton of disrespect to deal with. And those are all things you don't have to deal with now. It's a bummer. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one is from AITAH again and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Confronting My Neighbors About Their Sons Bullying My Son Every Day? I, 32 female, live in a small suburban neighborhood with my husband and our 8-year-old son, Liam. We moved here about 2 years ago thinking it was a great place for Liam to grow up, but lately things have been pretty rough. Liam is a sweet kid, kind of shy, who loves drawing, reading, and playing soccer. He's never been the type to cause any trouble, but a few months ago I started noticing some changes in him. He seemed more withdrawn, didn't want to go outside, and even started making excuses to avoid school. After a lot of asking, Liam finally told me what was going on. Our neighbor's son, Jake, 10 male, has been bullying him, like every single day. How old is Liam? 8. I was heartbroken. Liam told me that Jake pushes him around, calls him names, steals his lunch, and even rips up his homework. Jake also follows Liam home from school and says things like, if you tell anybody, you're going to regret it. It's been tearing me up inside knowing this has been happening right under our noses. I decided I had to do something. So a few days ago, I went over to our neighbor's house to talk to Jake's parents. I tried to be calm and explain what was going on, hoping they would understand and do something about it. I mean, what parent wouldn't want to stop their kid from being a bully, right? Well, it didn't go as planned. As soon as I mentioned Jake's behavior, his mom got super defensive and basically said Liam was lying or making a big deal out of nothing. She actually said, boys will be boys, and that maybe Liam needs to toughen up a bit. His dad was even worse, saying stuff like, kids need to learn to fight their own battles. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I tried to stay calm, but I told them straight up that if they didn't do something about Jake, I would go to the school or even the police if it got worse. That's when they got really angry. They started saying that I was overreacting and that if I didn't back off, they'd make sure things got uncomfortable for us in the neighborhood. Oh, cool. Now the parents are threatening you. Since then, things have been really tense. They've been giving us the cold shoulder, and a few other neighbors who are friends with them have been doing the same. Liam's scared to go outside, and now I'm feeling like maybe I made things worse by confronting them directly. My husband says I did the right thing, but I can't help feeling like the bad guy here. So am I the astronaut for confronting my neighbors about their son bullying Liam? Should I have handled this differently? Top comment here. Well, I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree here. You likely met the neighborhood bullies. Follow up, don't back down, get a paper trail started with the police and the school. Speak to the bus driver if there is one. Protect your kid and remind the other adults in this situation of their legal obligations, job roles. Doing nothing tells your kid he's not worth it. Yeah, that's true. I do think that there is an element of this where like, we should have known better, right? We should have known better. We should have known that the parents were going to be this way because he learned it from somewhere, right? He is the way he is. What was this kid's name again? Jake. Jake is the way he is because he learned it from dad or mom or both of them. Something in their world makes this okay for him to do. So he's playing this out wherever he goes, and he doesn't know any different, right? People are the way they are for a reason. And his home environment should have been the first thing that popped out for us and have been like, there's probably no point in talking to them. It's worth a conversation. I think I would make it like a recon mission first to find out if they are just as big as assholes as the kids are. You could normally tell though, like kids are the product of their parents, even at 10, right? So you can spot them in the parent pickup line. In the parent drop-off line too. Like it's not hard to tell who the asshole kids are. Just watch how their parents behave. That's it. I still think taking action is the right move here. Confronting them didn't do anything, but get more serious with it. They aren't above the law. They aren't above the rules. They aren't above anything. They think that this way of life for them is okay. The rest of society doesn't have to agree with them. And there are rules to prevent that from going too far. There's going to be some discomfort because apparently, if they are the neighborhood bullies and they've got control over other people in the neighborhood, yeah, they've got lackeys, they've got an army. They're gonna put the squeeze on you and make it as uncomfortable as possible because that's what bullies do. And they learned it from somewhere too. That's all they know. Even if they know it's wrong, they don't know another way. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. But you know what? I actually want to get some feedback from Candy Thunder on this one. Who looked shocked because I know, like, as a parent, getting involved with your kids, things your kids are dealing with can be tricky, right?
So there were people in chat. I feel like as a parent, it's like animal instinct within you to like protect your kids. But then on the other side of it, like you know that this kid is being bullied by his own parents. So yeah, I'm super protective of like our family and super protective of our work family because, it's a business that we run. And so they feel like just an extension of my family. And so like, I'm protective of them when it comes to work. And one part where I feel like I really lose my filter is when it comes to like being protective of our kids and work fam. Cause it's just, I don't know. It's just something that's like I'm ready to go. It's probably not healthy, but it just feels like you have, like I react in a
mama bear.
Very much so.
Mama
very
bear.
Much. Like
here,
but I'm trying to
sorry
to curb my reactions so they're not so dramatic when it comes to stuff like that. Like feel my feelings, but then actually respond appropriately. But man, when it comes to your kids, like there's just like this feeling inside you.
Nothing will get you puffed up.
Yeah.
Like somebody messing with your kids.
Yeah.
It is possible to make it worse, right? And in Tempest, yeah, bullies usually become bullies due to something in their home life, right? Yeah, and their home life, the bullies in their home life became bullies because of something in their home life, right? There's a cycle going on there, and you can make it worse. But when their bullshit starts to affect other people,
right?
Boundaries have to be created. And how do you create a boundary in this instance, in this kind of scenario? Like, yes, you tried to take the civil route, you tried to take the adult, let's work this out route. And that didn't work. So now you know what you have to do. You have to escalate the boundary.
Right.
That's all there is to it. You have to escalate it. There's no other way to protect your child, because right now, if you do let this continue, I say let this continue, if you don't push harder to get a stop put to this, your child, Liam, creative, happy, nice kid, is going to change as a person. And is to a certain extent already, but the amount of time that goes on with this happening unchecked is going to change who he is.
Right. That's like I was bullied in high school, so when it happened to Ava, I feel like my reaction to what happened to her was like I was already up here instead of responding out of norm. Like it hurt me more deeply because you don't want your child going through the same thing that you had to go through. And like, you know how I'm sure there is a lot of people in chat who have been bullied, and that like those feelings don't ever go away.
I think having somebody's back in that kind of situation is important. It's garbage. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one's from AITA and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Let My Brother's Kids Stay at My House After They Trashed It Last Time? Hell nah. No. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? That's how it goes? Did I get that right? I, 32 female, live in a nice, cozy home that I've worked really hard to maintain. My brother, 34 male, has 3 kids, ages 6, 8, and 10. A few months ago, he asked if they could stay at my place for the weekends because he and his wife needed a break. Wait, weekends plural? I agreed, thinking it would be nice to bond with my nieces and nephew. Well, that weekend turned into a nightmare. The kids went absolutely wild. They broke several things, including a vase that was a gift from my late grandmother, spilled juice on my white couch, and even scribbled on the walls with markers. I tried to manage the situation, but whenever I told them to stop or try to set boundaries, they completely ignored me. When I told my brother about the damage, he laughed it off and said, "Kids will be kids." Wow. He's the same dad. One of the boys happens to be bullying one of the neighbor kids. He didn't offer to help clean up or replace anything. I was really hurt, but didn't make a big deal out of it at the time. Fast forward to now, he's asking if the kids could stay over again because they want to go on another weekend trip. I told him no, explaining what happened last time and that I don't want to deal with that again. He got really upset, saying I'm punishing his kids for being kids and that I'm being unfair. Now my parents are involved, saying that I should be the bigger person and to help my brother out. They say the kids are sorry and they just want to spend time with their aunt, but I'm still traumatized by the last time they were here. Am I the astronaut for refusing to let them stay at my house again? Before we get into the top comment on this, you know why you're hearing from your parents, right? Because they were his second stop, and they would rather not deal with these little either. Top comment here, NTA. This is utterly ridiculous. You are not these children's parents, and they do not live in your home. You have no obligation to care for them except in an emergency. It's perfectly reasonable and acceptable to say that you can't handle having them in your home, particularly given your previous experience. Why don't your parents take in the grandchildren for the weekend then? Well, we already know. Alternatively, if you do want to help out, you could stay at your brother's place for the weekend. That way the kids are at home and can scribble on their own walls if they so choose. Also, your brother could pay you for doing this. Good point. However, I feel like knowing what you know now, even if you stay at your brother's house, yes, the physical damage to property would be hedged against, or at least it wouldn't be your property that's getting physical damage. The psychological damage would remain, because you would still have to deal with the madness that was ensuing here. Now, if they just let them run rampant and destroy everything in their own house and they're cool with that, you could absolutely let them do that and not try to stop them at all. But I have a feeling, OP, that even if you were going to let them destroy your brother's house, you're going to be there with your eye twitching, right? Because that's not how this should work to you. It goes against everything you think and feel. It's against your worldview that this is okay. And kids will be kids. Do they do this in school? Brother? I don't like it, brother. How old are the kids? 10 was the oldest. I remember that. 6, 8, and 10. No, they're in school. If they do this shit in school, they're going to get in trouble at school. So no, kids won't be kids everywhere. It's the 3 of them getting together and getting riled up and causing mischief. Like at some point, they're going to have to learn how to behave, especially in someone else's home. It's great that they feel comfortable enough with you to let their true selves out. That's fantastic. But it is on their mom and dad to teach them how to behave in someone else's home. And they don't have enough respect for you to do that for you, to do that for your home. Because either they're lazy as parents, And that's probably why they're needing a vacation. Like, I'm sure it's probably a lot to take. And maybe all three of their kids are super rambunctious, and that's why they need to get out of there. I'm sure it's tough. Like, I get why you need a vacation, but you have to understand that when you as a parent are going to take a vacation, somebody else is going to have to deal with your kids. Somebody else is gonna be watching them. Someone else is going to be feeling whatever pain you're trying to run away from in this situation, mom and dad, and offer no empathy for that at all. Cool. Okay. They only cared about themselves in this situation. You know that, mom and dad, not mom and dad, your mom and dad, OP. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is not how you were raised, because if so, yeah, I feel like there would have been some kind of mention of that, right? Because you are strongly opposed to the way that they're behaving, which means you probably weren't brought up like that, which means that your parents weren't brought up like that either, which means that they are extremely opposed or uncomfortable with kids destroying their home as well, which is why you got that phone call from them. And you're like, kids, yeah, just let it. Yeah, you do it. You should do this, because we don't have the patience to deal with it anymore. Yes, I just spit at the camera. I'm sorry. We know why the parents don't take them, but OP needs to say that to the parents. Agreed. Yeah. Michelle, Heather, I bet the grandparents were watching them first, but the kids did the same thing to them, so brother went to OP. Yes. Or you take them on vacation. Yes. Is bro the golden child? Maybe. But I think this is more of a case of them trying to protect their own peace. And you know, what's your own peace worth? Is it worth sacrificing your own child for? Because they think so. Either way, they're screwed. It's Kobayashi Maru for them. No, this is not a kids will be kids kind of situation. Kids will incite damages that will lead to you getting sued, mom and dad. So cool. How about that? How about them apples? Do you like apples? Dr. Sweet, you have every right to not parent your children. OP has every right to pass on watching them. 100%. And they're trying to make you feel bad for their own selfish gain. Like, surely, OP, you see right through that. You are not the asshole here for saying no and for having boundaries that are not respected. Because let me ask this to you, OP. And OP, if you end up happening to see this, comment and let me know if your brother and his wife had approached this differently and been like, I'm so sorry. We really haven't had them stay with someone else, you know, except for with grandparents. So they don't know how to behave yet. Let us talk to them. And then if you're comfortable, let's take another run at it after we talk to them. But we will make it crystal clear. And by the way, they will come help clean up all that mess. And if there's damage, let us know and we'll get it handled. If they had done that, I feel like OP would have been willing, because there'd be some kind of like, okay, you've addressed the issue. You've corrected the problem. There's less risk of this ruining my life this time. But because your wishes or the problem was just ignored here because they didn't want to deal with it, you said no. Nothing had changed. You knew what to expect. There were no changes in the expectations because they didn't want to address it because they're lazy. Riddle me this. Okay, tell me this, chat. And let me preface this with the context that, like, as I go through my own therapy experience and read some books and dive into like what goes on in the human brain with processing emotion and backgrounds, PTSD and trauma, like I'm second guessing everything that I say and think these days because I'm trying to trace it back and be like, is there a reason for this? Is this okay? So mom and dad in this situation, trying to let their kids just be kids and wanting to go on vacation and shove them off. Like, am I missing something here? Are mom and dad, is the way that they're treating this, is it okay? Or are we all on the same page that it's not? Even if it is, even if they want their kids or are okay with their kids acting like this in their own home, they cannot expect someone else to provide the same environment. And the expectation that someone else will be okay with that feels like it's bullshit. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one goes like this. Am I the astronaut because I, 35 male, am thinking of splitting with my wife, 35 female, because of a drunk comment? Oh shit. My wife and I have been together for 14 years with one child, but have been friends since we were young teens. We went to dinner at a friend's house, child-free event, and had quite a bit to drink when the topic of my wife's ex-boyfriend came up, who I obviously knew too. We still sometimes see him because of mutual friends. They split up because of his drug addiction when they were 19, and my wife and I got together a year later. In this conversation, our friend said it's very disappointing to see how bad he's doing. My very drunk wife replied how she begged him to get off the drugs and how hard it was that he chose drugs over her, and if he didn't, they'd still be together. On that last part, I get it. I didn't say anything at the time because none of us were in the right frame of mind, so I kept quiet, but it has shattered my world. The next day, my wife could see that I was quiet, so I told her what she said and how this made me question our entire relationship, as I always felt like the second choice. She has now locked herself in the bedroom and is giving me the silent treatment. We didn't even have a conversation because she straight away locked herself away. I think I want to end her marriage over this. I have a million thoughts in my head, and I don't understand how she is giving me the silent treatment. Am I the astronaut? Okay, this is gonna take some communicating here. Let's talk about this. So I understand OP's point of view. I do. Like hearing a recount of the past that would alter your relationship. Nobody wants to hear that. That doesn't mean it's not true. If life had gone differently, you wouldn't be together. And at least to me, it didn't seem like from your narration or from your recount of it that it was her like longing for him. It was an observation of, yeah, I begged him. It hurt so much that he chose drugs over me. If he hadn't, we'd probably still be together. It's true. You don't want to hear it, but it's true. If Candy Thunder and my lives had gone differently, it could have diverted us away from each other. We'd still be stuck in some shitty relationship, probably. It's not something we want to think about. Doesn't mean it's not true. So because, she was tossing back the truth serum and blurted this out, obviously you would hope that your partner would consider your feelings when saying shit like this. She was obviously hammered and said it, but he was either sober enough or maybe drunk enough to really take it to heart and for it to stick and for him to still be thinking about the next day. Candy Thunder, question for you. If I had said something like this, would it really bother you?
That would bother me.
Yeah, it would bother me too. As much as I want to sit here and say like it is the truth, I'd be butthurt.
It's to say it so many years after is what we're
to say it so many years after the fact, and it's still it's not untrue, but to hear your partner say it would suck. It would suck. Here she comes.
Sorry. The thing is that it's her reaction. When he said, you said this and it bothered me, and she hid herself away and didn't communicate, didn't solve the problem.
Okay.
She just went straight to the room and locked herself away, which admits that she feels guilty about what she says. And if you feel guilty about what you said, then obviously there's still some kind of feelings there. But if she had been like, no, that's not what I meant, like if this, then that, and explained it in a way that made sense to him, he wouldn't be entertaining the thoughts of ending his marriage over this. And I feel like she went into a bedroom, locked herself away, and did not ease the pain that was going on in his mind. Because how can you not have pain hearing your wife say that you wouldn't be together if this guy wasn't on drugs? Like that's a hard thing to hear. And in that moment, it was her responsibility to help make this right, whether or not she was drunk when she said it or not.
So
that's how I feel.
I'm blinded in on the first situation when she said it instead of her reaction to the confrontation about it, which is a different thing. And you can't blame the booze at that point, except for being really hungover. And I'm sure she stumbled out of bed and she's like, I feel like shit. And then he says that and she's like, I don't know what to and hides away. But yeah, it doesn't matter like how shitty you feel if you can see that you've damaged your partner and there was a misunderstanding or that you said something you shouldn't have. You at least have to address it. You have to finish the sentence. You have to. Maybe she locked herself in to try to like get herself woken up and try to figure out what the hell to say. It doesn't seem like it right now. And whenever he described it in the beginning, it was like, yeah, that really bugged me and I want to talk to her about it. He brought it up. And based on her response, that's when he says, I'm ready to end our marriage over this. I know he feels like that right now. Hopefully she opens that door. They have a conversation. They get through this. That's not how she really feels now. It was a blurted out drunken thing, but it's obviously something she's at least thought because she did blurt it out. So There needs to be a conversation here, but she's got to take accountability for what she did. There's no way she can move past this. There's no way you guys can move past this without that happening first. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. We got the grocery store edition going on this time. This one's from AITAH and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Telling a Lady at the Grocery Store That I Don't Know Where Her Item Is? If you go searching for Reddit on this, you're not going to find it. It is the official title is Grocery Store Edition, AITH. But Ava Thunder had to give us something a bit more descriptive. One of the things that pisses me off is when other people/customers are running around the grocery store and expect me to know where things are, even though I don't work there too. I am a customer. I was at a high-end grocery store, knelt over to get some things and was checking expirations when this rude old bat asked me where something was. I gave her the aisle. She disappears and come back to ask me about a second product. Bacon, obviously in the meat department. Comes back a third time huffing and puffing over staff not knowing something and asks me where the sponges are. Her irritation must have transferred over and I still wasn't done finding what I needed, so I said, in a pineapple under the sea. I don't know. I don't work here. She then yells that she knows I don't work there, but that I'm obligated to help because no one else can help her. I left the store without even buying anything and her yelling at me till the door. Am I the astronaut? Hold up. Wait, beyond people literally do that? You swear it's because you're avoiding eye contact like the plague? Wait, hold up. So you're telling me this little old gal like intentionally goes and finds people that don't work there to ask questions of because she doesn't trust the employees there?
He was squatting on the
Oh, so she thought
he was stalking.
No, she said she knows he doesn't work there. She said, I know you don't work here, but no one else can help me. She knows he doesn't work there. Now look, maybe she scanned around and she's like, who looks like a good, decent human being? And you got chosen. You should be flattered. If a sweet little old lady came up to me and started asking questions, like eventually I'd be like, you know what? I can get my shit in a minute. I'm going to help her go find what she needs because I would hope that, that if I had a loved one in a similar situation in there, that someone would step up and be the DFHB and help them do that. Of course, she doesn't have a right to ridicule you for not fulfilling your duty as an employee when you're not an employee. She doesn't have the right to treat you like shit and yell at you as you're going out the door because you're not giving her the tour and acting like her personal shopper. She gets free personal shoppers. That's her trick. You know what? I'm going to become a sweet old man and I'm going to go into places and hand my list to somebody who looks young and capable and get a free personal shopper. I'm going to do that because it's brilliant. She's just got the game figured out. That's right. I am going to order online. I'm not even going to leave the house. I'm going to be sitting around the house in just my whitey tighties, just sitting there getting everything delivered in my diaper. Yeah. Angel, she lost it at obligated if she said, I'm so sorry. I know you don't work here, but you reminded me of my grandson and seemed so friendly. Yes. And reinforced the sweet old lady act. That's how she could win people over to her sides. Even if it was like an old crabby woman, I would probably help her. That's me though. Like this is a personal preference kind of thing. I don't know. I would probably help her because I would just think even if someone I love was in that position and they were getting irritated at someone they shouldn't get irritated at, I'd be like, they're old and confused, man. I'm going to help them out. Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.